Welcome back to Lessons from the Front. And today I'll be showcasing my Gurkha army. On the outbreak of the Second World War in 1939, Gurkha soldiers of the British Indian Army were immediately deployed in the service of the British war effort, seeing action in three main combat theatres: North Africa, then on to Italy, and in the Far East. Having a large Japanese collection, I chose to build my Gurkhas for combat in Burma. The Gurkhas had 23 battalions, as well as garrison, training and parachute units that fought in Malaya and Burma, remaining strong and steadfast during the losses against the advancing Japanese assaults and proving instrumental in the fight back down the Burma Road after the halting of the Japanese advances towards India, the turning point of which are the famous battles of Kohima and Imphal in 1944 in Nagaland, northeastern India. Gurkha troops from various regiments also formed a key part of the two long-range penetration Chindit operations in 1943 and 44, harassing and tying down Japanese troops from behind their lines deep in the jungles of northern Burma. The Gurkhas are soldiers from Nepal who've been recruited into the British Army for at least the last 200 years or so. The Gurkhas are known to be fearless in combat, as much as they are known to be good-natured in daily life. They may be nice, friendly people, but don't mess with them when close combat. To this day, they remain renowned for their loyalty, their professionalism, and their bravery. Their utmost loyalty to their comrades led Sir Ralph Turner, a former Gurkha officer, to write this famous quote: "Bravest of the brave, most generous of the generous, never had country more faithful friends than you." Warlord Games' Bolt Action rules recognizes the toughness of the Gurkhas in close combat by giving them tough fighters as one of their national characteristics, which allows them to re-roll or make another roll if one of their close combats kills an enemy, and so you can do double damage if you're rolling really well. And the other thing that they get is scary blighters, so any unit that's up against your Gurkhas in close combat only get to roll half of their attacks. This pretty much means that you've got almost no chance of beating a unit of Gurkhas in close combat, with the Gurkhas getting to roll extra attacks, and also with the defenders only having to roll half of their dice. As we know, close combat in bolt action is brutal. One unit survives, the other is destroyed. All combat is decided right then and there, with the losing unit in combat basically being removed entirely from the table. There are no protracted combats in bolt action. It's incredibly decisive. And then if you make your Gurkhas parabats, well, then you get the stubborn rule as well. So they're very difficult then to remove through pins or by shooting them to pieces. So even in bolt action, the Gurkhas have a fearsome reputation, and if you're using them, get them into combat. If you're within 12 inches of your enemy, charge in. You're most likely going to be removing your opponent from the table. Having Chindits in support of my Gurkhas is not quite enough, so I have make that 4 vehicles in support. Although the M3 lead tank was largely being phased out by the end of 43, it's fun to play with. It's well armed, but vulnerable because of its riveted construction, and it's easy to catch fire. The Humber Scout car has a single pintle-mounted LMG with a 360-degree arc of fire and a source service in Burma. Its special rule is recce, as its name suggests. Armed with a light anti-tank gun in its turret with a coaxial MMG and 2 forward-facing hull-mounted MMGs, the Stuart was well loved by its crews and hence often called the Honey. A favourite of many wargamers, myself included, the Universal Carrier is versatile to fulfill various roles, including a artillery tractor of a 6-pounder, a recce carrier. I use mine as a transport for 5 men. It has a single forward-facing hull-mounted LMG, and I also add a pintle-mounted LMG for an additional 10 points. And finally, I have these 2 beautifully sculpted Burmese scouts. I often use them in large multiplayer games. And then also these 3 crewmen that I either use as free observers or to man either artillery pieces or mortars. The Gurkhas are a fun army to use. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to comment on your experiences with the mighty Gurkhas. Until next time. Thanks for watching.